Americans could be left uninsured. And President Trump declaring victory for his travel ban. The Supreme Court reinstating part of his executive order. Raging wildfires in the West, nearly 24 fires burning, homes in flames, hundreds of families evacuating. Our reporter on the fire line. Collision course, the new report. The captain of that massive cargo ship claiming the USS Fitzgerald did not respond to warning signals moments before the deadly crash. And panic in the sky. The passenger plane violently shaking in midair. The possible engine damage caught on camera. The pilot telling passengers to pray. Tonight, what we've learned about why this happened.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Hey, good evening. I'm Tom Yamas in for David tonight, and we begin with that breaking news from Capitol Hill tonight. The Senate's plan to repeal and replace Obamacare facing an uphill climb. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell aiming for a vote by the end of the week. The president sounding optimistic, but there is resistance from a growing number of senators from their own party. Resistance, too, at town halls and protests around the country. Just today, this die-in in Bloomington, Indiana. And tonight, the Congressional Budget Office predicting that the plan would leave millions more Americans uninsured while raising premiums for some of the most vulnerable. ABC's Mary Bruce starts us off tonight on Capitol Hill.
Have you made a decision?
No comment right now.
With the pressure mounting tonight, Republicans are scrambling to negotiate. Do you think you're going to get to yes?
I'm trying to get the yes.
Keep in mind what the real choice is. It's the Republican bill that has a lot of good things that should satisfy a lot of Republicans, or Obamacare.
This is the art of the possible, the art of getting 50 votes.
Tonight, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office reveals the Senate health care bill would leave 22 million more Americans uninsured over the next decade. 15 million more uninsured next year alone. While some young people could see their premiums go down, according to the CBO, a 64-year-old making roughly $57,000 a year could see their annual premium rise by nearly $14,000.
Obviously, it's not good news.
Other Republicans will likely point to the potential savings. The deficit would plunge $321 billion by 2026. Republicans can afford to lose just 2 votes, but already 5 say they cannot support their own party's bill. 5 more have voiced serious concerns. One of the biggest sticking points, the bill's plan to slash spending on Medicaid by $800 billion.
I'm also very concerned about the Medicaid cuts, what it means to our most vulnerable citizens.
Today, Republican Senator Ron Johnson warns those hardest hit will be those working-class Americans President Trump calls forgotten.
Unfortunately, the forgotten men and women remain ignored in both the House and Senate bill, and that's where I'm trying to press.
Candidate Trump promised not to touch Medicaid.
Save Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security without cuts. Have to do it.
He recently called the House version of the bill mean and says the Senate bill needs to have more heart.
I don't think they're that far off, famous last words, right? But I think we're going to get there.
Mary Bruce joins us now from Capitol Hill. So, Mary, President Trump just said it. He thinks they're going to get there, and he's been working the phones as well. But where do things stand right now?
Tom, the president has been reaching out, the vice president too. Republicans insist they want to get this done this week. But tonight, it's unclear how they plan to get the votes. And if they don't, today the president tweeted that perhaps they just let Obamacare crash and burn. Tom.
The deadline fast approaching. All right, Mary, thank you. Next to one of the biggest victories for President Trump's young presidency, the Supreme Court agreeing to review the constitutionality of his travel ban. But in the meantime, allowing key parts of it to go into effect. ABC's Terry Moran, who covers the Supreme Court for us, is there tonight.
At the White House, President Trump was asked how he feels about the court's ruling today.
How do you feel about the Supreme Court ruling today, Mr. President?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
And in an official White House statement, Mr. Trump hailed the court's action as a clear victory for our national security. The Supreme Court ruling today will allow the president's travel ban to go into effect, but only partially.
Is this a clear victory for President Trump?
I would say it's not a clear victory for either side. This strikes me as a compromise solution that hands both sides something of what they wanted, but doesn't give anybody a clean victory.
Under the court's ruling, some people will be banned, some not. The president's order blocked travel to the U.S. for 90 days by people from 6 predominantly Muslim countries: Iran, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, and Sudan. But today the court declared that the government cannot ban people if they have a bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the United States. That includes, the court said, family members of U.S. residents, students admitted to American universities, workers accepting a job offer in the U.S., speakers invited to address an American audience, and more. In the end, analysts say those most impacted will be refugees with no connection to the U.S., and that may turn out to be a relatively small number of people. The travel ban, a signature Trump campaign promise.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
But as soon as the ban was issued in January,
big stuff,
with no warning and no consultation with agencies who would have to carry it out, there was trouble. Chaos at the nation's airports and protests in the streets. Courts stepped in to block the ban, and in March, the administration issued a new order ruled on by the court today. Now, the government will begin implementing the ban in 72 hours.
And Terry, there are several steps to this travel ban, so what is the timeline on enforcement?
Well, the next steps, Tom, already administration workers are working on how to implement the ban. A State Department official saying we've got 72 hours to figure this out. They will work with the Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security to figure out who is covered under the Supreme Court ruling and who is not. That will likely end in more lawsuits to get that decided. One more thing, this ban is written to last for 90 days only, to allow the administration to look at the vetting procedures. Well, by next October, when the court hears this case, it could all be moot.
And Terry, there was a lot of speculation that Justice Kennedy might be announcing a retirement today. What happened there?
Well, he is the crucial swing vote. There was great anticipation and anxiety over whether he would retire. In the end, he decided not to, and like every Supreme Court justice, nobody quite knows why. Tom?
Terry Moran for us at the Supreme Court. Terry, thanks so much. And President Trump going on the offense about Russia's meddling in the U.S. election, turning against his predecessor, blaming President Obama, claiming he did nothing about it, accusing Obama of collusion and obstruction for political reasons. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
For President Trump tonight, a warm embrace from the Prime Minister of India. But the president clearly has something else on his mind: Russia. In a barrage of tweets beginning this weekend, the president hit his predecessor over Russia's meddling in the election. The real story is that President Obama did nothing after being informed in August about Russian meddling.
In other words, the question is, if he had the information, why didn't he do something about it? He should have done something about it.
The president was responding to a report in the Washington Post that Obama hedged on punishing Russia more strongly before the election. It quoted an anonymous Obama official saying he had, quote, choked. On Twitter, Trump fired back, tweeting, he didn't choke, he colluded or obstructed, and it did the Dems and crooked Hillary no good. This as the special counsel looks into Russian hacking and possible collusion with the Trump campaign. Trump himself has repeatedly raised doubts about whether Russia was behind the hack at all.
It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay?
Today, in a briefing where cameras were not allowed, the White House press secretary was asked if the president finally believes that Russia did it.
He believes that Russia probably was involved, potentially some other countries as well could have been equally involved, or could have been involved, not equally.
All right, John Karl joins us from the White House now. And John, clear this up for us. For months, President Trump called the whole Russia story a hoax. Why is he now attacking President Obama for not being tough enough on the Russians?
Well, Tom, he's clearly jumping on an opportunity to criticize President Obama. But even as the intelligence community warns that Russia will try to do it again, combating Russian interference has hardly been a priority at this White House. Tom?
Jonathan Karl for us tonight. John, thank you. We do move on now to the wildfires raging in the West. 21 large fires in 7 states fueled by the extreme heat and strong winds. Take a look at the flames moving quickly across the hills near Prescott, Arizona, and burning dangerously close to the highway in California. More than 1,500 people forced to evacuate. hoping their homes can be saved. ABC senior national correspondent Matt Gutman on the fire lines tonight.
Tonight, an army of firefighters in Utah battling a fire that has sent up walls of flame 100 feet high, torching an area the size of Washington, D.C.
I've never seen a run like what happened here. 8 miles in one day.
Calling it unprecedented for this time of year, officials have thrown everything at it. Planes, helicopters, and over 1,100 firefighters. Red flag warnings expected to make this fire explode.
This is what firefighters have been battling all day here. That wind turning small fires into infernos like that, towering 100 feet high.
Just north of Los Angeles overnight, this brush fire racing across hilltops, jumping Highway 14.
You could feel the heat.
Oh my God.
Motorists fleeing that thundercloud of smoke, the fire moving so fast, this homeowner spraying the fire with water from his pool. Eventually, these airdrops brought it under control, but in Arizona, these aerials show the Goodwin fire running out of control. 70 homes under evacuation orders. Here in Utah, over 1,500 folks evacuated, 13 homes destroyed.
This type of terrain shows you how tricky it has been for firefighters here and why it's been so hard to contain the flames here. Making matters worse, we're at 9,000 feet and the elevation has taken its toll and the wind is still howling, meaning in the hours and days to come, we're going to see more hot spots. Tom.
Matt Gutman with an up-close look at that danger tonight. Matt, thank you. Overseas now, a new insight into that deadly collision involving a U.S. Navy ship off the coast of Japan. The captain of the container ship that plowed into its side reportedly saying he tried to give warning, but the USS Fitzgerald failed to respond. ABC's Gio Benitez with the latest report.
Tonight, what may be the first account of the collision that claimed 7 American lives attributed to the captain of the cargo ship that struck it. Reuters reporting the skipper told the ship's owners he flashed lights to signal the USS Fitzgerald before the crash and that the destroyer failed to take evasive action, suddenly veering into the ship's path.
Anytime there is a collision at sea, there is gross professional negligence involved. 2 ships are not supposed to hit each other, and if both ships follow the rules the way they are supposed to be followed, they simply will not impact each other.
ABC News has not independently confirmed Reuters' report of the captain's account, and the Navy tonight not commenting on the report while it investigates. The ACX Crystal sliced through the destroyer's cabins where more than 100 sailors were sleeping, the crew scrambling to save the ship, sealing off the flooded area so the ship wouldn't sink. And Japanese investigators are now analyzing the black box from that cargo ship, looking for details about the ship's movement or any evidence showing what may have caused that collision. Tom.
Gio Benitez with that new report tonight. Gio, thank you. Next to the desperate escape from a sinking ferry boat at a popular tourist spot in Colombia. The ship, you can see it here, rocking from side to side and then quickly slipping under the water. Passengers pulled down with it. At least 7 people did not survive, and a massive search is underway right now for those still missing. Here's ABC's Lindsay Janis.
Tonight, nearly a dozen people missing after this 4-story ferry packed with over 150 tourists sank. This footage, which is sped up, shows the 2 bottom decks disappearing underwater. Dozens of people trapped inside. This woman says people began to climb onto the other people to get out. Other boaters on the popular reservoir near Medellin, Colombia, racing to help. This man says he heard a roar before disaster struck. The boat tipped, and we all went to one side to counter the weight. As the boat straightened out, it was sucked into the water. At least 7 dead. But tonight, divers still searching for the missing.
Tom, several people on the ferry reported hearing a loud noise before it began listing. Investigators are trying to determine what caused it to sink. Tom?
And still so many missing. All right, Lindsay, thank you. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. The midair scare, the worried pilot telling everyone on board to pray. The passenger plane violently shaking for almost 2 hours. Imagine seeing this from your window. It looks like engine damage caught on camera. And tonight, we've learned why this all may have happened. Plus, tourists attacked in a famous American city, the new surveillance video, police asking for your help tonight. And the surreal mystery involving artist Salvador Dali. Decades after his death, his $325 million estate may be on the line. Stay with us.
Wise man? I'm nervous about things I can't control affecting my good credit score.
I see you've planted an uncertainty tree. Chop that thing down. The clarity you seek lies within the CreditWise app from Capital One. CreditWise helps you protect your credit. And it's completely free for everyone. It's free for everyone? Do hawks use the stars to navigate?
I don't know.
Ah, I thought you did. I don't know either. Either way, it's free for everyone.
Cool.
What's in your wallet?
Beyond is a natural pet food that goes beyond assuming ingredients are safe to knowing they are. Going beyond expectations because our pets deserve it. Beyond, natural pet food.
I'd never miss an early morning market, but with my back pain, I couldn't sleep or get up in time. Then, I found Aleve PM.
The only one to combine a safe sleep aid plus the 12-hour pain-relieving strength of Aleve.
And now, I'm back.
Aleve PM for a better AM.
The day after